now I move forward to the actual interrupt instruction. Basically the instruction is INT. INT is the short form of interrupt. After that INT instruction, you will be providing a number. There are different numbers. I'll show you that with some other document, that these are the interrupts that can be used with 8086. There are different type of interrupts we can use. In fact, we can use 256 different type of interrupts with 8086. So here I am showing few of those interrupts. So basically the interrupt number is being used as per the table, that what type of interrupt you are going to call. For example, you are going to call an interrupt for the keyboard, for the mouse, for the video, for etc. So you need to choose the number accordingly. So I'll share this document with you as well. This document has all the interrupt details, but as per the lab, our main concern is about the interrupt 21H. Again, further, the interrupt 21H has further categorization. I'll explain one by one. Mostly I will be focusing the specifications which we are going to use in our lab. So here, first of the thing is, if we want to get an input from the keyboard, here you can see that I'm talking about a character, not a string. If we want to get a character input from the keyboard, we are using interrupt 21H, but that interrupt will be basically checking the value of AH register. Here the value depends that what type of task is going to be performed and after the interrupt occurs. For example, if you want to get a character input from the keyboard, you will be moving the value 1 in AH register and then calling the interrupt. After calling that interrupt, you will be able to get a input from the keyboard. I'll also explain this by using emulator software, but initially I'll explaining about different type of values that can be stored in AH to get different type of interrupts. For example, next is if you want to get a character display on the screen, then you need to move the value 2 in AH register, and then you will be calling the interrupt to display the value. Now, where to store the value which you are going to be display on the screen? Where to store that value? Basically that value will be stored in DL register. You will be specifically using the DL register to store that value which you are going to display on the screen. Now I'll show you a demo code for that. For example, here you can see the if you want to get an input, I'll comment the remaining code, just enable the code for the input. So in that case, basically you need to move the value 01 in AH register and then call the interrupt. If I'll emulate this and run step by step, so first 01 value will be moved in AH, then interrupt is being called. After the call of interrupt, you will see a window here for getting a character from your keyboard. Now you can see that this will wait for your input until you enter an input. This will wait for your input. So if I press, for example, I press E, you will see a value E over here, and this program ends. So basically this is for this interrupt is for getting one character at a time. So one more thing I am going to mention, that this is basically something like get CHE. I hope you remember that in C language, if you want to get character from your keyboard, you use a command get ch. Then there are two type of get ch. One is get get character and one is get character with echo. What does the term echo mean? That the key you pressed on the keyboard will also display on the screen. So this 01, basically if you place the value of 01 INT register and call the interrupt, in this case the value will be get from the keyboard as well as it will echo on the screen. So if you want to check that where the value will be stored, that value will be stored in your AL register. The character you entered on keyboard, the hexadecimal value of that character will be stored in AL register. So for getting a value of character without echo, for that you will be using a value 07. You will be storing a value 07 in AH register. So if I command this and enable move AH07, now if I call this program, you will see that it will get an input from the user but will not echo it on the screen. For example, I press E, that you can see that there is a change in AL register but no value is echo back on your screen. So again, for your ease, I will recalling the program, and you can see if I press E over here, you can see that your AL register is updated with the ASCII value of E, but that value is not echo back on your screen.